If your live stream setup still feels messy, confusing, or hard to trust, this video is for you. And I want to say this right at the start, this is not a full setup tutorial. I'm not going to tell you every camera, mic, scene, overlay, or Stream Deck button that you need. This is for the creator who's already watched a few tutorials, maybe bought a few gear, and maybe opened Ecamm and tried going live or seriously thought about it, but still feel that they're stuck because they don't know what to fix first. Because sometimes the reason your live stream setup still feels complicated is not because you need more gear. It's not always because you need more tutorials. Sometimes it's because there are too many moving pieces and you haven't worked out what actually matters for the next live stream. So today I want to help you slow that down and work out what to fix first. So let me know this. What part of your live stream setup feels the messiest right now? Is it the audio? Is it camera? Is it the scenes, overlays, Stream Deck, or just the whole workflow? Hello, I'm Marianne. I help small business owners, service providers, and creators simplify their video, live stream, and creator workflow. That way, they can show up online with less setup friction. So on this channel, I share simple live stream, setups, Ecamm tips, and creator workflow, as well as my honest behind the scenes lesson as I build this creator support side of my business. And today we're going to talk about your live stream setup, but not in the usual buy this, add this, change this kind of way. We're talking about priority. Because if you have been trying to fix your camera, okay, you fix your audio, your lighting, maybe your scenes, your camera, your overlays, and comments, Stream Deck if you've got one, trying to figure out your show flow and your content strategy, and also building your confidence all at once, of course it's going to feel overwhelming. And that is not a one-step problem, that is a whole pile of decisions. So by the end of this video, I want you to have a clearer answer to this question. What is the one thing that I need to fix first so I can actually go live, record, or show up online with less friction? So let's go. So why your setup feels so hard to fix? One of the reasons live stream setup feels so overwhelming is because everything feels connected. So you think you are fixing one thing, and then it turns into 5 other things. You open your Ecamm to fix a scene, and then you notice, oh, my camera angle is all over the place. Then you notice your lighting. Then you think your overlay needs changing. Then you remember, I want a better comment box so I can show my live chat. Then you start thinking about whether you should be using a Stream Deck. Then you wonder if your audio is good enough. And suddenly, the thing you thought would take 15 minutes has actually turned into a full setup spiral. And this is where a lot of creators do get stuck. Not because they're lazy, not because they're bad at tech or say that I'm not techie enough, but because their setup has become a collection of separate pieces instead of a simple workflow that they can repeat. Okay, so when everything feels important, guess what happens? It becomes really hard to know where to start. So the first thing I want you to know is this. You do not fix a messy live stream setup by fixing everything at once. What you do is you fix it by working out what is causing the most friction right now. So let me know if this has happened to you. You start fixing one thing and then suddenly you're trying to fix other things. So let me know if that sounds familiar to you. Okay, so What's the mistake most beginners make when it comes to trying to build the perfect live stream setup? What it is they think, I need better gear first. I need more polished overlay first. I need more scenes first. I need a full stream deck setup first. I need to understand everything that I am setting up first. And yes, all of them can help eventually, but they're not always the first thing to fix first, okay? Because a setup can look pretty, can have a nice background like I do, and still feel stressful. You can have nice overlays and scenes and still not know what scene to switch to. You can have a nice stream deck and still feel unsure what button you actually need. You can have a great camera, okay? I have many cameras. I bought many cameras along my content creation journey and still avoid going live because your show flow, feels unclear. So instead of asking, how do I make my setup look better? A better question is, what part of my setup is stopping me from going live or recording the next thing? That is usually where you should start, okay? So what should I fix first? All right, so that's the most obvious question, the reason why we're here. So let's talk about what to fix first. I would not start with the fanciest part. I would start with the part that gives you the most confidence to actually show up. And so for most creators, that actually falls into one of 5 areas. So the first one is your audio, okay? If people can't hear you clearly, then that matters a lot. And your audio doesn't need to sound like a professional studio, like those podcasters, but it does need to be clear enough so then that way people can comfortably listen to you and not cringe and hear whether it's too loud or too soft. So if you're constantly worried about your mic, your volume, your echo, okay, or whether people can hear you, audio may be the first thing to fix. The goal is not perfect audio. The goal is audio that you can trust enough. That way, you don't have to keep thinking about it while you are live. The number 2 is your main camera or your host view, okay? So before you worry about the first 5 scenes, start with the one scene people will see the most. And that's you, the host scene. Ask, can people see your face clearly? Yes. Is your camera angle okay? Not too low, not too high that they're looking up your nostril? Is the background distracting? Is the lighting good enough? You don't need a perfect studio, but you do need one view that feels ready enough for you to use. So if your host scene feels messy, everything else can feel, harder and it constrain the eyes. All right, so that's the second one, is your camera or your host scene. Number 3 is your basic show flow. Now, this is a big one, okay? So listen up. Sometimes the tech is not the real problem. Sometimes the real problem is that you don't know what is supposed to happen next. How are you going to start your live? Do you have a hook? What are you talking about first? When do you share the screen? Or what do you bring up? When do you bring up the comments? How do you wrap things up? And what do you want people to do next? So if you don't have a basic flow of your scene, the live stream can feel stressful even if the tech is working. And trust me, when I'm not prepared, you don't have to be fully prepared, but you just have to have an idea of how the show will flow. So your journey. So for some creators, the first thing to fix is not a piece of gear. It's the run sheet, right? So show flow. have a think from start to finish. What are the things I need to cover? The next thing is your scenes, okay? Once your audio, host view, and basic flow are clear, then the scenes become easier. Now, you don't need 20 scenes. And trust me, I have lots of scenes, but that's because I've built that over time. But when you're first starting out, just have the basics. You probably need a few simple ones that match the way you actually create. So for example, a host scene like this, maybe a scene that you sharing your screen, you're sharing a presentation, a demonstration scene like I do in my other channel, Marianne Cress, where I show my desk. Maybe a host plus a check the chat scene, just like this one. And then you highlight the people that are in your live chat. So again, the question is not how many scenes can I make? The question is, what scenes do I actually need for the way I teach, sell, share, or go live? All right? And then the next one is the repeatable checklist. Now, this may not sound exciting. There's a nice little motorbike outside. That's when you know I am live. Okay, this may not sound exciting, but it can change everything. A checklist helps you stop relying on your memory every single time. And if you're like me and you go through a lot of brain fog, a checklist is very, very important. Because if you have to remember every single step before going live, your setup will always feel heavier. So your checklist might include check the mic, testing, 1, 2, 3. Check your cameras, okay, or camera. Open up Ecamm. That is the software that I use with my Mac to go live and record my videos. Choose the right profile. Which one are you going to use today if you do different shows for your content? You check your scenes. Have I got everything in order? Check your destinations. Where are you live streaming to? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Okay. Check the title and your description because you need to be found. Test your audio if you're going to do music or play videos, and have your notes ready, and then start the stream. Now, it's not the most glamorous, but it makes the process easier to repeat. And the easier it is to repeat, guess what will happen? The more likely you're actually going to show up. I want to know which of those feel like the first thing that you need to fix. Okay, audio. Is it your host view? Is it your show flow? Is it the scenes that you're going to use for your live stream or your recording? All right, so how to choose your first fix? So how do you know which one to fix first? I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, all right? So the first question to ask is, what is the thing I worry about the most before going live? If you always worry that people can't hear you, then start with your audio. If you always worry that you look unprepared, start with your host scene. And if you always worry that you'll forget what to say, start with a show flow. Okay? The next question to ask when you're trying to figure out what to fix first, what is the thing that slows me down every time? Not the thing that would be nice to improve, but the thing that actually slows you down. Maybe you spend too long setting up your camera. Maybe you keep changing your overlays. Maybe you can't find the right scene to switch to. Maybe you keep checking tutorials for the same thing. That's usually a clue of what to fix first. And then the other question to ask is, what is the smallest fix that would make my next live stream easier? this is important. Don't ask, how do I fix my whole setup? Ask, what would make the next one, just the next one, easier? Maybe it's creating one host scene. Maybe it's writing a simple opening, your hook. Maybe it's testing your mic once and saving the setting. Or maybe it's deleting the 5 scenes you don't actually use. Or maybe making a pre-live checklist. The smaller the fix, the more likely you are to actually do it. All right? So 3 questions to ask yourself. The next is what not to fix first. So let's talk about that. I would not start by changing everything that is already working. Okay, so if your camera is good enough, don't spend 3 hours comparing cameras. Okay, with all these new cameras coming out, you want to get this, everyone else is using it. But if what you already have is working, stop, let it be for the moment. What if your overlay is, readable and everything is working well? Don't spend the whole day redesigning it. And I know I have fallen into this trap. I will change the font size. I will change if it's italicized or bold. Our viewers don't worry about those little things. We may, but that stops us and slows us down from going live. Now, if you have a stream deck like I do, that has 2 buttons that work, don't avoid going live because you don't have 12 perfect buttons yet. And I would be careful also with copying someone else's setup exactly. Now, it can be helpful to learn from other creators, but their setup is built around their content, their room, their gear, their audience, their confidence, and their workflow. Your setup needs to support the way you create. So that's why random tutorials can only take you so far. They can show you how to do one thing, okay? But they can't always tell you what your actual setup needs first, right? So let's look at a simple example. Let us say that you want to do a simple live stream where you teach something for 30 minutes. Okay, you might think you need a perfect intro scene, a fancy countdown, multiple camera angles, a branded overlay. Okay, you might want to have chat on the screen. You want stream deck buttons, slides, music, a call to action scene, and a replay workflow. But for the first version, you might only need clear audio, 1 host scene, maybe 1 screen share or a slide scene or a demo scene. If you are working with your hands and showing your craft, you can have a simple run sheet or a basic checklist and maybe, your show flow. And again, a checklist is so important. And that could be enough for you to go live and learn from the experience. And then after that, after you've used your setup, then for the next one, you can make it better. And this is the part that matters. You can't improve a workflow you never use. So you can overplan and you can have analysis paralysis, check every little things before you go live. But what good is it if you are actually not pressing go live? So sometimes the best thing to fix first is the thing that gets you using the setup, not the thing that makes it look perfect. Here is the reframe. A simple live stream setup is not about having less because you're not capable of more. It's about having the right pieces in the right order. You're not trying to build the most impressive setup. You're trying to build a setup that you can trust, use, and come back to. And that's what makes it repeatable. And when your setup becomes easier to repeat, showing up online becomes less of a whole project. It becomes something you can actually build into your business. Now, if you're listening and you're thinking, I don't even know what I should fix first in my own setup. And that is exactly the kind of thing I help people work through inside my Creator Workflow Simplified, which is a one-on-one creator support where we look at your actual setup. Not a perfect setup, not someone else's setup, but yours. We look at what feels confusing, what's taking too long, what feels clunky, and what actually matters right now. Because the goal is to help you leave with clearer next steps, a simpler workflow, and less second guessing before you record or go live. So if you want help working out what to fix first in your actual video or live stream setup, you can find the creator support link in the description. I would love to know, what is the one part of your live stream setup you think you need to fix first? Is it your audio, your host scene, your show flow, your overlays, your checklist, or something else? Leave a comment and let me know. And now, if you want a practical next step after this, watch my video on the 3 simple scenes that I use in every live stream. Because once you know what to fix first, the next helpful step is simplifying the scenes that you actually use. Now, I'll make sure to add that link of that video in the description as well. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I hope this helped you stop looking at your live stream setup as one huge thing to fix and start seeing the next small piece that matters. Because you don't need to fix everything before you show up. You just need to know what matters next. I'll see you in this next video. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.